Do you all remember the story that was always taught in Christian classes of the man operating the drawbridge and his child that was with him that day? It's something we kind of talk about for a minute in our last episode of the Dan and Cam podcast when we're talking about spiritual bypassing and just some of the mental gymnastics that in the faith we had to go through. And the story came up where the story kind of goes the man was at work and he operated the drawbridge for a train. And he was sitting there and he saw the train come down line, but he couldn't find his kid who was with him that day. And the kid he looked and saw was underneath the bridge. So he had to make a choice. Do I close the bridge on my child, or do I and let the train pass with all the passengers, the hundreds of people and souls that are on the train? Or do I keep the drawbridge up and protect my child and let that bridge and the train, all the people go off the edge? And he's like, well, God is that, bridge operator, and he's the one that sacrificed his own child. And it's supposed to be this great and glorious idea of who God is and what he did for us and how he gave his only begotten child for us to save us. The mental gymnastics you have to go through to love that story and think it's such a great thing is to realize that why were we in this predicament in the first place? Why were we on the train? It's because if the story was to hold true and live up to the biblical principles, the bridge operator put all those people on the train and actually created them in a manner that would force them to go on this train, telling them that they were going to end up going off a cliff someday. And that they were going to have to do all this stuff for him and believe in him that someday he was going to build that bridge that they're eventually going to come across. And that he would provide that answer for them. But he caused all the problem. They failed to recognize the whole story, the whole picture. You're not a superhero. You're not a great person if you are creating all the problems that you're solving. Actually, you're kind of a narcissist